So thank you very much to all of you for joining this event. As you know, today we are announcing the winners of the third Space4Youth competition. Thank you for joining. The competition is organized with our partners, the Space Generation Advisory Council. And my name is Veronica Cesco, and I work at UNOOSA in the Office of the Director, and I will be your moderator today. Just a couple of points. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, and you can find more information about our activities on our webpage, unoosa.org, and also through our social media channels. So first of all, we will have some remarks from our partners. We will then look at and we will announce who the winners of this competition are. And then we will have two short presentations from UNOOSA and SGAC about the work that these two organizations do in the area of youth. So let's get started. As most of you know, the focus of this competition this year has been on space as a tool for climate change adaptation and mitigation. And we asked young people across the world to provide concrete and original examples of how we can use space technologies and applications, space science and research for climate change adaptation and mitigation policies. We received, the competition is growing and growing, so it's really great to see that it's becoming bigger over the years. And we had more than 430 registrations from more than 80 countries, which is amazing. So thanks to all of you who submitted essays from so many different countries. In addition to that, a very important aspect of this year's competition is that it is part of the All for Climate Italy 2021 program, which is the official calendar of events in the context of pre-COP26 and the Youth Climate Summit, which is hosted by Italy at the end of September, beginning of October. Another two important elements are, of course, that relates to our partners. So big thanks, of course, to the Space Generation Advisory Council. And this year we have, for the third year in a row, the cooperation of the US Permanent Mission to international organizations here in Vienna, who supported the competition by providing the award to the winners. And this will be meeting representative of the industry and flying to the US to attend adult space camp at the Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Very, very exciting. And then we also have a new partner this year, which is amazing news. And we have the UK Space Agency with us today. And the UK Space Agency will organize an event for to provide with experts, UK and US experts, to provide feedback to young people, to the winners about their essays, and also see whether it is possible to support them in developing further their ideas and their examples. So thanks to all our partners to make this possible. We will have now, I will give the floor to our speakers for introductory remarks, and then we will announce the winners. So stay tuned. I see already that we have Director Pippo, Director of the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, with us. So I would like to give the floor to Director Pippo for her introductory remarks, and then we will also have remarks from SGAC, the US mission, and the UK Space Agency. Director Pippo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and I'm really excited to welcome you to this third edition for announcing the winners of the Space4Youth competition. We have come a long way since the project was launched 3 years ago. It seems a long time ago, but it's just 3 years. Allow also me to extend my gratitude to the Space Generation Advisory Council for their great contribution and support to this joint endeavor. I would also like to welcome the US Chargé d'Affaires, Luis Bono, and thank the US Permanent Mission to international organizations in Vienna for the great cooperation in the past 3 years and for providing the opportunity for winners to attend the space camp at the US Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama, as Veronica was mentioning. It's also great, with great pleasure that I welcome the UK Space Agency CEO, Graham Turnock, and extend my gratitude for supporting the 2021 competition. I'm excited about this new cooperation and look forward for continuing working together for and with young people in the context of COP26. The global competition population will soon reach 8 billion, and currently we have the largest generation of young people in history. As we strive to create a better tomorrow, we need to listen to the future generation as an essential asset in ensuring that our pledges become a reality. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, with its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, is a call for action to promote prosperity while protecting the planet. And empowerment of young people is a cross-cutting element. With new and innovative ideas, young people can subscribe to find solutions and improve people's life across the world. Yet there are many challenges facing young people that require our attention, and at the United Nations, we are contributing to addressing these issues at all levels. Guided by the UN Secretary General Youth 2030 strategy, we work to fully recognize young people's positive contributions as agents of change. In this context, the UN system is building on its unique global convening role, its mandate, and also its role as a partner and broker to act as a source of protection and support for youth around the world. It serves as a platform through which their needs can be addressed, their voices can be amplified, and their engagement can be advanced. The Office for Outer Space Affairs plays an active role in these efforts. As the only UN entity dedicated exclusively to space affairs, we are a global convener of the space community at the UN level. In this role, we work on behalf of all countries to provide space solutions to real-world problems, and we fully recognize the need for openness, fairness, and inclusiveness by leaving no one behind. Engaging young people around the domains of space exploration and use carries a powerful message. Space assets are transformative tools and, in a sense, a game changer. Seeking views, ideas, and making voices of youth people heard helps in getting more institutions and provide more space solutions and really trying to support new ones. Through the Space4Youth competition that we launched 3 years ago, we support the implementation of the youth strategy. Specifically, we focus on the first priority: engagement, participation, and advocacy to amplify youth voices for the promotion of a peaceful, just, and sustainable world. The competition provides great means to collect the perspectives of young people on the role of space for sustainable development. But at the same time, it helps them influence how we can use space assets to create the future we want. This allows us to create an enabling environment, ensuring that youth is not a mere recipient of decisions, but also an integral part of developing and implementing solutions. Well, this third edition of the Space4Youth competition has focused on one of the most challenging issues we face as humanity, the climate crisis. In recent years, young people globally have taken an active role, demanding action by the policy and decision makers, private sector, and other stakeholders. At the same time, they have led by example. I applaud this effort and welcome the bravery and dedication with which this generation seeks to bring the necessary positive change, not only for themselves, but for the civilization and for the entire planet. Many can indeed learn a lesson from this, and I can only reiterate that the time to act was already yesterday. To help further elevate these voices and institutionalize the role of space in climate action, we launched the competition Youth for Climate 2021, Space as a Tool to Foster Climate Change, Adaptation and Mitigation. This context is also part of All for Climate Italy 2021, which is the program of activities organized by Italy as host of pre-COP26 and the Youth Climate Summit. The main aim has been to highlight good practices and experiences on how space can be used to tackle climate challenges. It looks at how space science, technology, and its applications can support climate change mitigation and adaptation policies at local, national, regional, and international levels. We have received a great number of outstanding proposals, and I'm very happy that our young winners will receive advice from UK and the US experts on how to further develop their ideas for the greater impact. I'm convinced that many of the examples we have received can be scaled up in line with the objectives set out in the Paris Agreement. On behalf of the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, I would like to thank everyone who participated in our competition and everyone who supported us in this endeavor. We do strive to build a better future, and we have indeed great partners while doing so. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Director Pippo, and indeed we have great partners. I would like now to give the floor to the Executive Director of SGAC, Davide Petrillo. Davide, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Veronica. Thank you so much for your introduction. And it is a pleasure and honor for me to be here. And we are thrilled to continue the collaboration with the UNOOSA on another excellent initiative that enables young people's contribution as agents of change in the space sector. The Space Generation Advisory Council, in support of the United Nations Space Application, is a global non-governmental non-profit organization and network which aims to represent university students and young space professionals aged between 18 and 35 years old to the United Nations Space Agency, industry, and academia, contributing to discussions on the role of space in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Headquartered in Vienna, in Austria, the SGAC network of members, volunteers, and alumni has grown to more than 16,000 members, representing more than 168 countries. By hosting different types of events, as well as attending various events globally, SGAC provides its members the opportunity to expand their knowledge of international space policy issues. Given the current challenges posed by the pandemic, SGAC has moved to online and hybrid events that provide the best opportunity for the space ecosystem to meet and share information. By removing some of the barriers to traditional event attendance, including travel costs and time, the online and hybrid event format is enabling greater participation from all over the world. Moreover, I really would like to stress that it's really through collaborations like with the UNOOSA that we will continue to inspire and learn from the next generation and strengthen the future talents with this important initiative, such as the Space4Youth Competition. For the third edition, we received the highest number of applications, showing how the next generation has a long-standing commitment to make a concrete contribution through space as a tool to foster climate mitigation and adaptation. We are really proud to see the engagement of so many students and young professionals, and we really believe this is an important step forward to continue to provide in the future this international platform to discuss key issues in the space industry and take back global insights, new perspective and collaborative opportunities to the students and young professionals, home countries and local network. In summary, with this third edition of the Space4Youth competition, we have seen positive growth over the past years, which would not have been possible without the tireless effort of our volunteers, as well as the support of our partners and sponsors, in particular the US permanent missions to the International Organization in Vienna and the UK Space Agency, that I would like to thank on behalf of SGAC, looking forward to seeing further editions in the future for the benefit of our students and young professionals from all over the world. Thank you very much for your attention. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Davide. I will now give the floor to Bono, the Chargé d'Affaires at the US Permanent Mission to International Organizations here in Vienna. Let's see if...
Thank you, Veronica. Can you hear me?
Perfect, loud and clear. Thank you.
Great. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. It's actually kind of cool to be able to say that, because this really underscores that this is an event with participants from all over the world. It's my pleasure to join Directors Pippo and Petrillo, as well as CEO Turnock here today. But more so, I'm very excited to be with you, the finalists. The U.S. mission has supported the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs and the Space Generation Council's essay competition for the last 3 years. And this year, I'm pleased to welcome our co-sponsor, the UK Space Agency. Promoting the peaceful uses of outer space in general, and this year's Space4Youth competition in particular, are excellent examples of how we are working together across international borders to make great things happen. So congratulations to you, all the finalists. Now you may be wondering why the US mission in Vienna is interested in Space4Youth. First, I'm sure that those of you who submitted essays know that Vienna is the center of international collaboration on the peaceful uses of outer space. That is why the United States works very closely with the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs and the countries that sit on the UN's Committee for the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, also known as UNOOSA. But no one country can take credit for the discoveries in outer space. Likewise, no one country can assure the use of space is sustainable. That is why the international community needs to work together. In 2019, the then 92 member states of the COPUOS adopted a number of sustainability guidelines so that present and future generations from all countries can continue to enjoy the benefits of the peaceful exploration and use of outer space. And today, there is an unprecedented level of international cooperation in the peaceful uses of outer space. Take, for example, the International Space Station. Launched in 1998, the space station has been a shining example of international cooperation for over 20 years, bringing many benefits to humanity, such as techniques for water purification, the monitoring of natural disasters and climate patterns, improving vaccines, and making inoperable tumors operable. An international partnership of space agencies provides and operates the elements of the space station, including the space agencies of the United States, Russia, Japan, Canada, along with the European Space Agency. A second reason why the United States is so proud to support this competition is to help tackle the defining issue of our time, climate change. President Biden has kept his promise of bringing the United States back to the Paris Accords, and he recently announced aggressive targets to reduce U.S. greenhouse gas pollution 50% by the year 2030. Since the dawn of the space age, the United States has used satellites to better understand our home planet, improve lives, and safeguard our future. The United States makes its Earth observations available to all, free of charge. These Earth observations are used to study and to curb climate change, the topic of this year's competition. The entire United States government is now engaged in this fight against climate change, including our colleagues at NASA. But we must also work not just with partner governments, but a broader group of stakeholders from around the world, such as scientists, businesses, universities, and you, our next generation of leaders, to develop sustainable solutions. Thus, your proposals to use space as a tool to foster climate mitigation and adaptation are vital to this process. Those of you who are fans of outer space know this is a very exciting time. Last year, in May, we saw NASA and SpaceX launch 2 astronauts from the Kennedy Space Center to the International Space Station. This is the first time a commercial vehicle has done that. That test flight was followed by the first commercial crew rotational flight to the station in November. And this past April, SpaceX launched 4 astronauts into orbit using a recycled rocket and capsule. November 2020 also marked the 20th year of humans continuously living and working aboard the space station, with 1 astronaut, the American Christina Koch, completing a record 328-day stay, the most time spent in space on a single mission by any woman. And perhaps you saw in February when the United States landed the Mars 2020 mission with its Perseverance rover and Ingenuity helicopter on the Red Planet. In April, the Ingenuity Mars helicopter became the first aircraft in history to make a powered controlled flight on another planet. This was a very exciting moment, and I hope you got to see the video. In another exciting venture, NASA teamed with the European Space Agency on the Solar Orbiter mission that will provide the first ever images of the sun's poles and unique insight into how the sun affects the space environment. And we are bringing more and more international partners on board to help with our plans to return to the moon and onward to Mars through the Lunar Gateway. By 2024, NASA intends to send the next astronauts and the first woman to the moon as part of the multinational Artemis program. NASA has signed agreements with several nations called the Artemis Accords to make sure our return to the moon and onward to Mars is done safely, sustainably, and in the spirit of scientific exploration for all humanity. The Artemis Accords will strengthen space cooperation and facilitate safe and transparent exploration, science, and commercial activities for all to enjoy and capitalize on. Let me just recap for a moment. Through collaboration in space, we can solve some of our greatest challenges here on Earth, from healthcare to sustainable food and clean water supplies, and preserving the environment. But let me humbly raise another benefit. It is no secret that tensions exist between the governments of the United States and Russia here on Earth. But in space, our astronauts have coexisted and cooperated in harmony and in furtherance of science for years. So I have to confess, as a diplomat, I don't like being upstaged by astronauts. So to put it plainly, this is why the United States supports the Space4Youth competition, because it identifies and brings together the next generation of leaders to help address the pressing challenges here on Earth. Captain Kirk famously described space as the final frontier, and as we set out to explore it, it is incumbent upon us to work together with peoples of all nations for the benefit of all humanity. The United States is proud to be a leader in this effort, and we look forward to working with you, all of the finalists, as we push further and further into that frontier and explore the moon, Mars, and beyond. Thank you for letting me participate in this event today. I look forward to hearing the winners share their essays in a few minutes, and once again, I congratulate you, all of the finalists.
Thank you very much, Chargé and Bono. Thanks a lot for your words. I would like now to move to our next speaker, and I see that he's already on screen. Thank you very much for joining us. We have Graham Turnock, CEO of the UK Space Agency. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is a really big year for climate in the UK, and we're very excited to be hosting both the G7 meetings very shortly in June, and then the 26th UN Climate Change Conference in November in Glasgow. Climate challenges are really key for this government and obviously for our society more generally to address.
I'm trying to work.
Indeed. As the CEO of the UK Space Agency, I'm really delighted to be here with my distinguished co-panelists, and in particular with you, the participants in this important essay competition. I'm also very proud to say that space is playing an increasing role in enabling us to not only monitor just how fast the climate is changing around the planet, but also what the impacts of those changes are on ecosystems, ice caps, forests, agriculture, flood risk, and much more. And tools and data are also enabling us to start taking action to mitigate those impacts and risks to all areas of society. So how are we doing that in the UK Space Agency? Well, we coordinate and fund the civil satellite programs in the UK, and that includes observing the Earth. In that field, we work alongside with our colleagues in the European Space Agency, as well as on a number of missions with other countries, and use technology innovation on things like data management and applications to help make Earth observation a tool for decision making. We're also co-funding something called Space for Climate, which is a sort of grouping of the climate community in the UK from industry, academia, and those who set the rules and policies to really make the best use of climate information from space. It brings together people with expertise from government, industry, and academia, as I say, in the development of satellites, the analysis and exploitation of data, and then the production of services from that data that help us understand and manage our impact on the climate. So I wanted to highlight two really exciting specific missions that show off what we're doing to make a reality of space as a key tool in tackling the climate challenge that we face. So first of all, I've mentioned Truths. Truths is a mission. You can look up what that stands for on the fantastic webpage on the National Physical Laboratory website. It was invented here in the UK by our National Metrology Centre. Metrology is all about measurement and having standard references for time and length, etc. And the people in that centre have come up with an idea to create the world's first standard reference, a sort of ruler, if you like, for climate in space. And the aim of that is really to help us improve our confidence in climate change models by generating better data. We're building it in the UK, but we've got fantastic help from other ESA member states, including Greece, Romania, the Czech Republic, and Switzerland. And the aim of the Truths mission is that it will create and collect the most accurate measurements of the energy coming into the Earth from the sun and then coming back off the Earth. And of course, that helps us understand the radiation imbalance, which is critical to global warming. So the mission will not only make its own measurements, but it will also improve the performance of other missions through calibrations and cross-calibrations from space and become a new gold standard reference for climate measurement. And we're aiming through this to increase the accuracy of data by 10 times. And this will make a huge difference in the time that it takes to make decisions and the quality of decisions. And we think it will halve the time that it takes to make decisions. The second mission I'd like to mention is Microcarb. So that's a joint mission that we're developing with our colleagues in France. It was announced way back at the Paris conference of the parties in 2015. Microcarb is all about measuring sources and sinks of carbon. So where is carbon being produced and where is it being absorbed back into the ecosystem? Obviously, it's the principal greenhouse gas, man-made greenhouse gas driving global warming. And this will be the first European mission to characterize those fluxes on the Earth's surface and gauge how much carbon is being absorbed by the oceans and the forest, which are the main places where carbon is reabsorbed on the planet. And so monitoring that data will then allow us to anticipate how ecosystems will react to global warming. And we've got a range of roles here in the UK, from assembling and testing the satellite to developing the computer programs, the algorithms that will help manage the satellite on the ground. And we've got leading scientists in the group that are advising on the mission. So those are two missions that if you don't know about already, I'd encourage you to Google and find more about, because they're right on the leading edge of how we're going to use space to tackle the climate change challenge. So thank you very much for these few minutes to tell you about what we're doing in the UK Space Agency. We're delighted to have supported this competition this year with our colleagues who you've heard from. And I'm really delighted to see the enthusiasm from you as the young people of the United Nations to tackle climate challenges, and really look forward to hearing from the winners very shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your kind words. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And now we move into the probably most interesting part of the conversation. I'm sure you're all waiting to hear who the winners are. So we will start now with our first winner. And I will share my screen. We have as our first, 1 second. So our first winner is Mahlak Abdullah from the United States with an essay on synthetic biology for climate change. Apply modified carbon dioxide consuming Escherichia.coli tested in space to carbon scrubbing technology in space and on Earth. Welcome, Malak. And I would be really, really happy to hear something about yourself and also a little bit more about your essay. Now I'll leave the floor to you.
Hello, can you guys hear and see me fine?
That's perfect.
Okay, sounds good. I should share my screen now. 2 seconds while I do that. All right. Without further ado, let's get started. So hello, everyone tuning in from different places of the world. I'm on the West Coast. I live in California. So good morning on my end. I wanted to first say thank you for allowing me to share this space with you. I am truly, truly honored to be starting this new journey, and I'm so glad about this opportunity, and I'm very thrilled to be moving forward. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce who I am. My name is Mahlak Abdullah. I go to the University of California in San Diego, where I'm studying human biology. It's also known as UCSD. I'm just wrapping up my first year of university, and I'm slowly heading into my second. I graduated from high school in Kuwait last year in the class of 2020, the year that brought many of us challenges, I'm sure. Like many others around the world, my class did not actually get to celebrate it properly and end the year off the way that we had anticipated. But that's okay, because to me that meant opening up new chapters in my life. And those chapters firstly include starting college at UCSD, but also developing the first Kuwaiti experiment to be launched to space, and specifically to the International Space Station. So speaking of which, I want to also present myself as one of the lead investigators of this project, which I work to develop with my partner Ahmad, who is the individual that you see presented on the screen now. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how and where all started. So like the Space4Youth competition, we won what was known as Experiment in Space competition. This was the first time this was happening in Kuwait, and it was the first opportunity for people in Kuwait to be able to send something that they created from scratch and up to space. And so this competition had a lot of ideas submitted. Some of the proposals included were very, very impressive. The ideas ranged from, studies looking at studying cancer cells in space to white blood cells, nanomaterials, crystal growth, insect behavior, seed germination, and the list goes on and on. But my team's project was chosen mainly because of our experiment's feasibility, its viability was practical, and we had the implications for its contribution to the wider community listed out. And so that was very compelling to the panelists of judges. And so our experiment, using the principles of synthetic biology, investigated the effect that microgravity will or will not have on E. coli bacteria. And this is not just any E. coli bacteria, but this bacteria is one that has been genetically modified in order to be able to consume atmospheric carbon dioxide and use that as a sole food source. And so this bacterium actually was modified by removing genes that usually process sugar compounds and inserting ones that encode a specific pair of enzymes. And now this type of enzyme is one that allows photosynthetic organisms in order to be able to convert atmospheric carbon dioxide into organic carbon. So using metabolic rewiring and directed evolution based on lab timescales, the research team that developed this genetically modified bacteria, led by systems biologist Ron Milo, were able to get this E. coli bacteria to resemble the consumption of carbon dioxide by photosynthetic organisms, which was a significant point in the scientific world because it was the first time that it's been successfully managed. And so in summary, what they were able to do in the shortest terms, they were able to take E. coli, which is more of like a heterotroph, and convert that by using, as I mentioned, metabolic rewiring and directed evolution in the lab, and convert that to a to an autotroph to be able to resemble photosynthetic organisms. And what's significant about this is that products fashioned this way could eventually work to remove gases from the air. And so this ability might even help mitigate the effects of global warming by reducing the amount of carbon dioxide concentrations in the atmosphere. And so spaceflight research has actually proven over and over again that microgravity, which is an environment with zero gravity, a weightless environment, it could have a major impact on the physiology, the molecular biology, and the stress resistance of microbes and the likes of E. coli. And it is because of this quality that E. coli has demonstrated time after time to be an ideal model bacterium for zero gravity research. And so after reaching out to these bacteria's owners, my team and I were able to gratefully get a hold of this incredible piece of sample from their main lab. And in an 8.4 milliliter fluid containing enclosure called a mixed tube, which I'll show you on the next slide, we've been trying to investigate the likelihood of E. coli being able to resort to carbon dioxide and using the carbon dioxide as a sole food source and for its necessary energy and microgravity. And so contained in its M9 minimal media, which is the growth media that this bacteria thrives in, that it survives in, and 30 millimolar of sodium formate, we had it stored in this mixed tube, and it was separated from the carbon dioxide, which was in one of the compartments, which it would interact later on upon its arrival onto the station, the International Space Station. So that is when astronaut Shannon Walker unclamped the white clamps that you see here, separating the three different compartments, allowing all of the contents of the tube to intermix. And that's when we would do our part in analyzing the role of microgravity in this E. coli's behavior. And so this next slide showcases two pictures that we received from the International Space Station of our experiment just floating out and about on the station from the astronauts 2 days actually after it had arrived. So here you can see the mixed tube, which is the one that we've been working on. And obviously there is the mission patch that represents the experiment also available there in that picture, which to me is just intriguing, and I still have yet to take that in. And so after spending about a month up at the space station, the mixed had come back to NASA and we were able to analyze the results. And quite frankly, our investigation actually proved that E. coli was able to sequester carbon in space. And this calls for the real life significance, importantly, of this research, which emerges from the fact that microbes built to rely on carbon dioxide for growth could ultimately aid in the reduction of global warming by decreasing carbon dioxide concentrations in the atmosphere. And now, what are the actual applications of this? Why is it significant? And this is where the innovative kind of aspect of my essay comes in. So we've proven that E. coli can consume carbon dioxide and grow in space, but what's next? So importantly, I thought it was important to note that a strain of E. coli that's able to consume carbon dioxide could benefit systems vital to sustaining life in space, as it could be a part of carbon dioxide scrubbing technology, which could be found in certain space settings in the likes of the International Space Station. So E. coli, how it would work in this is that it would serve as the biologically active substance in the bioreactor within the carbon dioxide scrubbing system. And such a system could be used on Earth, whether it could be an industrial setting or even a personal rebreather, or even in an outer space setting, which includes a spacecraft or even maybe space colonies on the moon or other planets. And this could really set the stage for the development of certain scrubbing technology using this modified bacteria in areas with high quantities of carbon dioxide. And of course, that comes with meeting with specialists and mentors who can accomplish this goal in the long run. So flying out to NASA's base, I actually got the opportunity to meet with our NanoRacks and Dream Up mentors, and very gratefully, I was able to see the Falcon 9 Dragon 2 vehicle that carried our experiment launch from the infamous vehicle assembly building, which you could see to the left. It was just so intriguing to me to just be able to get into the lab rooms there and learn about people who have been working at NASA for years and NanoRacks also for years, and just learn about their projects. And I can specifically recall a meeting with Brock, who is the picture, the individual I was taking a picture with to the left, who took the role of the project manager of the Bishop airlock, which is in the shortest terms, kind of new opening doorway, a piece of infrastructure to the ISS that was launched with my experiment actually in the Falcon 9 Dragon 2. And so to the right, you see also two NanoRacks team members who are both responsible for sending student payloads to the International Space Station. And I can truly say that this was all a surreal experience. It's, I think, one thing to learn about these things in the classroom environment, but to be able to see it firsthand and all of these events kind of unfolding before your eyes, that's a completely different learning experience. And so by testing this E. coli in space and now proving its efficacy in microgravity conditions, I like to be optimistic about what the future holds for this E. coli and its role in the carbon capture technology, which can eventually pave the way for new reformation policies that could be incorporated at local levels, national levels, and even on a global level. And that could all contribute to a more sustainable, cleaner atmosphere, a cleaner community. And so as I wrap up, I want to point you all towards these two additional resources. The first one that you see up here is a link to a NASA published study that my team and I put together if you're interested in learning more about the role of E. coli and what the purpose, or specifically this genetically modified E. coli, the purpose of it, why did we send it to space? There is that. And there's also a link to a TEDx video that my team and I also put together if you're interested in learning more. But without further ado, I think that's all I have for today. Once again, thank you so much for having me. It's truly, truly, truly an honor. And I'm also available for questions should time allow us. Thank you.
Thank you for the great presentation, Malak. It's really great to hear what you're actually doing and what you did. Very exciting. I'll now move forward to our next winner. And here I'm really, really excited to announce that our, well, sorry, I was just trying to, well, I can see her already here on the screen. My presentation is not working anymore, but I would like to welcome Karina Maria Berbert Bruno from Brazil with an essay on space as a tool for mitigation of climate change, multiscale results with Earth observation technologies in Cerrado biome. Karina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Veronica. Can you hear me well? I will share my screen now. Just a moment. See, everything is okay?
That's perfect.
All right. Thank you very much, Veronica. First of all, I would like to thank UNOOSA, SGAC, and the US Permanent Mission in Vienna for this opportunity in Space4Youth Competition. Thank you very much. My name is Karina Berbert Bruno. I am from Brazil, and I am a geographer. And now I'm studying my master's degree with focus on the interdisciplinarity between demography and population studies with geographic dynamics at University of Campinas in São Paulo, Brazil. And a little about me, I have focused my academic and professional career in geoprocessing and remote sensing fields, always related with environmental and sustainable issues, as well as socioeconomic process. Currently, I am a GIS analyst at GIZ, the Deutsche Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit, developing activities in the Terra-class project. I'm very honored to be here with you today for discuss the use of space technologies and data for tackle the climate change in Cerrado biome in Brazil. Thank you very much. To start our conversation, I would like to introduce some aspects about the Cerrado biome. I just will, right. I would like to introduce some aspects about the Brazilian savanna, which it is called also by Cerrado. And it is the second largest biome in South America, comprising 3 countries, Brazil, Paraguay, and Bolivia. And here in this green area in the map, it is represented 90% of the Cerrado biome, which it is comprised by the Brazilian territory. So the Cerrado, it is considered the most biodiverse savanna formation in the world, and mainly due to the thousands of fauna and flora species there it is in Cerrado, which many of them are endemic. So for this reason, Cerrado have 5% of the world species, as well more than 30% of the Brazilian biodiversity. And also for this reason, Cerrado is considered one of the main hotspots in the world. So another important point too, it is that the management and the land use in Cerrado are intrinsically related with the climate change, and the stability of this biome is constantly threatened by the human activities. So to better understand the influence and the importance of this biome, we must look in different scales. So in the environmental scales, Cerrado have a fundamental role in biodiversity maintenance, as well in hydrologic and ecosystem balance. And as a result, Cerrado provides more than 30% of the agriculture income, as well the maintenance of the smallholder agriculture and food security. But more than just incomes, the Cerrado, it is also the homeland and the guarantee of subsistence for local and traditional communities. So to reinforce the synergy between those three spheres, those three scales, the government must promote public policies and shared plans between them. This is also an opportunity for aligning the climate agenda and the sustainable development goals with public policies in Cerrado. So actually, the Cerrado, I don't know if it's sharing this. Okay. So actually, the Cerrado, it is even more deforested than the Amazon forest. And today we can ask what is happening in Cerrado by looking at the Terra class data. But this kind of question it's not new. So 10 years ago, in 2010, the Brazilian government created the Terra class project in order to understand what was happening in the deforested areas. But in a first moment was only for the Amazon biome, and in 2013 the Cerrado was included in the project. So the Terra class, it is fixed in a wider project called FIP Paisagens, which aims support solutions for the main challenges in Cerrado. One of these challenges, it is of course the deforestation levels, which has worsened since 2018 and are reaching the highest peaks in 2020. Also, another problem, it is the degradation of lands caused by the use of unappropriated methods of agricultural production, resulting in low productivity. So the FIP Paisagens project, supported by other initiatives, aims to promote and support social and economic development, low-carbon agricultural practices, and recover and adapt already deforested and degraded areas. And all of these actions based in sustainable goals. So we can ask how Terra class use space technology, space data, and science for providing answers for an effective plan. So to understand the impact of the land change, the land use and cover change, the solution was founded in space by monitoring the deforestation and qualifying the land use. So in this sense, the Terra class based its purpose on the use of satellites image time series provided from the Landsat satellites, and the MODIS sensor. So after that, after obtaining this information, a long path of standardization, distribution, processing, it is made with this primary data and applied geoprocessing and computational methodologies. So for all of this process, it is necessary the participation of many scientists, students, technicians with different backgrounds and experiences with space data, for finally transform this data in a useful and available information for public access, and more than that, for transform this data in environmental indicators that can be combined with economic and social aspects, provide a more specific and effective assessment. So from this process discussed and from the space data, we have a multiscale result. Here on in the slides, you are seeing the land use and cover map of the Cerrado of the year 2018. And this information will guide other fronts in the wider project, the FIP Paisagens, mainly those fronts related with recovering and adapting already deforested and degraded areas, as well areas to promote low carbon agriculture practices. So today, the Terra class accomplished 2 maps, 2013 and 18, and more 2 will be made further. Another important point here, it is that today our scale map, it is regional and national, but our future approach, it will be the river-based scale. And the intention for this, it is to provide a more refined information for actions inside of the Fique Paisagens project, and also being closer to people realities and needs and communicating this information for our better actions and plans. So finally, we can ask, how will space technologies and data impact and change our reality? When we are dealing with this tool, we face many challenges related with methods, process, standardization, and so on. And the answer for this challenge can be simple: sharings. Sharing not only our achievements, but also our struggles, our difficulties, sharing all of this with other science teams or people who have experiences with space data can improve all this process, and more than that, can improve the result. So the example that I brought here today, and so many others here in this competition in the outside, just highlight this multidimensional tool that is this space. So using Earth observation technologies for improve our policies, our plans, our assessments, can promote balance between societies and environments, and more can promote a more inclusive governance, putting the climate policies in synergy with people's lives contexts. So I believe that more than ever, we have to strengthen the dialogue between society, governmental policies, and scientific knowledge. So here today, UNOOSA have the opportunity to connect developing country youth. And from here, we can share the progress of the Sustainable Development Goals, as well the progress of the Paris Agreement issues in those countries, and mainly how youth are using the space for tackle the climate change in the country. So from here, we can build a space sharing network of youth. I believe this is the main message. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karina, and thank you for bringing forward these examples, bringing to us this example. Now, just I know we are kind of running late. We have the last winner, and we also have 6 special mentions to be announced. The essays of these people will also be uploaded to our website, so stay connected with us. I will now like to, 1 second. And okay, you should have, so well, now we have the slide, and then we move to the next one, and we have, as a 3rd winner, we have Tejasvi Shivakumar from India with an essay on Earth observation, renewable energy, and space influencers as tools to foster climate adaptation and mitigation. Hi, Tejasvi. Now I'll just stop sharing my screen. I'll give you the rights to give your presentation.
Thank you. Just checking if you can hear me all right.
Perfect, loud and clear.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. All right then. So thank you very much for that introduction, Veronica. I am thrilled to be selected as one of the winners, and I have to say I had great fun writing the essay as well. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you also to all the organisations in the call right now. And I'm really excited to share with you my essay in the next 10 minutes or so. So my name is Tej, short for Tejasvi. I am originally from India, but I now live and study in the UK. So a bit about what I currently do. So I'm a 2nd year PhD student. So I completed a biological sciences degree from undergraduate and then jumped to start a PhD really. And I'm based in the University of Nottingham in the UK. So Nottingham is a city that's pretty much in the centre of the UK. And there I study astromedicine and astropharmacy, which is really a new exciting field looking into healthcare challenges, and particularly challenges related to pharmaceuticals and their degradation, with an eye to long duration space missions, but also to low resource environments here on Earth. So my research is very much focused in the lab. I'm also doing synthetic biology, just like Malak. Although I'm biology focused, I was particularly motivated to submit this essay, which is not really related to biology because I'm passionate about climate change, but also I thought there's something that we could do, particularly aimed at young people, that I thought I should share. So my essay was actually titled Earth Observation, Renewable Energy and Space Influences as Tools to Foster Climate Adaptation and Mitigation. So as you can see here, there's really three big themes: Earth observation, renewable energy and space influences, that I'll explain to you are kind of interrelated together. And then I left the essay with an idea that I thought I should share with the audience. So what is Earth observation? Earth observation, or EO, can literally be defined as seeing Earth from space. And by doing so, we can get a lot of information about our planet's lands, oceans, and atmosphere. So on this picture here, you can see this constellation of satellites that's called Copernicus, and this is Europe's primary Earth observation platform. It's also dubbed Europe's Eyes on Earth, which is quite cool. So Copernicus is managed by the European Space Agency, but the data from the Copernicus platform is available around the globe. In fact, you may recall the Australian bushfire, which happened in 2019, and much of this disaster was actually monitored using these satellites as well. So actually, Earth observation can be used for many, many applications, not limiting to natural disasters, biodiversity, but eventually climate mitigation and adaptation. But for the purpose of this presentation and the essay, I chose to discuss its role in the renewable energy sector. So renewable energy is sustainable energy, it's green energy, and here you can see I've discussed wind and hydropower, and these are the main contributions, these are the main contributors to renewable energy, although there are other sources of renewable energy. So you can see a wind farm here. Wind farms, the turbines are what actually generate the power from wind, and much of the sites for these wind farms were actually decided using Earth observation data, particularly from Sentinel, which are some of the satellites part of the Copernicus program. So we could essentially identify those sites that have the highest wind energy potential, particularly in Europe, but this data is also used elsewhere around the globe. Then we've got hydropower, which is power generated from water, typically stored in reservoirs, pictured here. And you may recall that hydropower plants are located in very remote and particularly dangerous parts of the world. So these could be glacial or mountainous regions. And keeping in mind the volume of water that's stored, it's particularly sensitive to land displacement. So even a 1 millimeter change in the land is quite dangerous for a hydropower plant. So many hydropower plants across the globe actually use data from particularly Sentinel and Copernicus to monitor land displacement up from space, and this can help the managers of the hydropower plant to make informed decisions, particularly coming on to risk management and mitigation. So there are numerous applications, as I mentioned, for EO, but the great thing about this is that it's actually freely available to anyone around the globe with access to internet. So already many businesses, academic users, governments in many countries and students across the world do use this freely available EO data through this portal called Copernicus Open Access Hub. And this is where the data is actually loaded onto. And on the left here is another screenshot that I took from Copernicus Climate Change Service. And here you can see many locations across Europe. This is also expanded onto the whole world, and you can see sites across the world on their website but for the purpose of this essay I chose to discuss Europe alone. And actually was pleasantly surprised to see that the Lake District National Park, which is one of my favorite national parks in the UK, using the real-time data from Copernicus to actually monitor water quality, because there's a lot of glacial water there as well. So coming back to renewable energy, you might know that much of the power, the energy that we use is typically from fossil fuels, and that's one of the major causes of carbon dioxide and one of the greenhouse gases and things like that. But actually, there was a very important but silent milestone that Europe had crossed in 2019. So on this chart, you can see the trends for renewable energy and fossil fuel based energy right here. And in 2019, you can see that very marginally, renewable energy actually overtook fossil fuel based power. And in 2020, about 55% of Europe's energy is now from renewable sources rather than fossil fuels. So that's the majority there. Now, it's great to see this upward trend because it means that more countries are on track to meet the 100% renewable energy target. But we also have a long way to go. So out of 100 people, 44 people still live and work based on the energy from fossil fuels. And for a better planet, we need to make sure that this is actually zero, that 100% of the people are living off of renewable energy sources. So if we want a cleaner and smarter energy, for climate mitigation. And for that, we need to get as many people involved as possible, but particularly the younger generation, because these people form the future people that have to live with the effects of climate change. And so we need to get as many people involved as possible. So what is the current challenge at the moment? The current challenge is that there is perhaps a lack of awareness or even a lack of interest among the common man and women, particularly young people. And this could be traced back to the technicalities or even the inapproachable nature of climate research because it's too technical. This has a lot to do with jargon as well. So to give you an example, as I'm a biologist, and assuming most of the audience here is a non-biologist audience, and if I start suddenly to talk about benign tumours, genetically modified bacteria, enzyme kinetics, without giving you too much detail, you will probably shut off in about 5 minutes or so. And so even then, you might even have the perception that some of these are actually bad or dangerous. So benign tumours are actually well, it's okay compared to malignant tumours. And although genetically modified bacteria sounds particularly nasty, you might know that insulin, which is a treatment for diabetes, is actually derived from genetically modified bacteria. Similarly, with regards to climate research, technical terms such as false radiation may cause misunderstandings or even be misleading, and particularly skills related to machine learning, remote sensing, coding, can seem particularly daunting to the younger audience, particularly those that are not in the science, technology, engineering, and medical fields. So there is a need here to break down the information and actually get more people engaged here. So I see a need for mediators or ambassadors or influencers here in order to break that information down and make it more accessible to the common man or woman. And so in the essay, I finished off with sort of a proposal for a climate and space influencers program, which will mainly work to create public interest in the space and climate research area, and also inform changes that are happening on the planet, both the good changes and the bad changes, so people are more informed, are engaged. And finally, also to popularize sustainable lifestyle. So for those of you who are on social media at the moment, you might know that much of the content, particularly aimed at the younger audience, could actually do the opposite. It promotes an unsustainable lifestyle. So if we were to create a cleaner and smarter future, we need to be able to popularize sustainable lifestyles. And I also see numerous benefits of this program. So the influences based in organizations such as space agencies and new businesses could actually benefit from promoting their activities. And my personal favorite is the fact that more innovation could come into the sector as more people are inspired and motivated. And I also notice that many jobs that are going to arise in the sector in the future will need skills to be taken up by the younger generation right now. So also getting them to be more prepared for these jobs. So that was all my essay talked about, really. So hopefully that was a good introduction. I'd like to finish my presentation here by saying thank you to all the organisations again in the call right now. This was a great opportunity, and I'm actually really excited to learn more and participate in the future. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Tej, for giving this presentation. We are running late for sure, but now we get to the last part where we are actually, so we will give the special mentions and then we will have 2 short presentations. So given that we had many good essays and we want to acknowledge and recognize the efforts of everybody, as you can see on screen, we have like some special mentions and also congratulations to 6 additional people. We have Komal Saiwan from India, Brian Novio from the Philippines, Sivanujan Sutaharan from Sri Lanka, Denzil Rajak Prayag from Trinidad, Onyenye Gift Nwankwo from Nigeria, and Elliot Wobbler from the United States. So congratulations to you as well. Very hard to pronounce some of the names and surnames, but thank you very much to the winners for giving such great presentations and giving more information about their essays. And congratulations also to our special mentions. Your essays will be uploaded online. Now, I will actually like to give the floor. We will have 2 short presentations, one by Azuki Mori, my colleague, and another one from Valentina Lucchetti from SGAC. So if you can still stay with us, just, you know, we will have this short presentation. Now, I would just like to call on Azuki to see if she is with us. Yes, I can see her.
Yep, hello.
Okay, now you should be able to share your screen.
Yep, I will share my screen. Hold on. So I'm hoping that you see my PowerPoint right now.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to make this short. Hello, my name is Hazuki Mori, the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, and I will briefly introduce you to the UNOOSA activities for the youth, which our director has mentioned in the beginning, which is under our youth strategy. Okay, so first, I know all of you are aware about Space4Youth because you are here, but we not only have competitions, but I would like to emphasize that we have something called Space4Youth Stories, where you can read articles about young people from all over the world that share their experiences in starting careers in the space sector. So you're not only invited to read them, but also to share your own story. So please take a look at the website, read the stories, and if you have a story to share yourself, please reach out to us. You can see the website there. And I think by reading the different stories there, you can see how you can contribute to space in so many different ways. You don't have to be an engineer or a scientist. There are many other ways to get involved in space as well. So please make sure to check out not only the competition, but our Space4Youth stories. Second, I'd like to mention that we have a collection of hands-on opportunities called the Access to Space for All initiative. So this is where you can acquire technical knowledge and cutting-edge skills. So this is not focused just on the youth, but the opportunities are open to research institutions and academia, which means that you can take part in these activities. As you can see here, we have 8 opportunities to conduct various experiments on ground, but also on orbit. Also, we not only have hands-on opportunities, but we have a collection of webinars that can provide you with theoretical educational knowledge. For satellite development, utilization, and operation, we have a wonderful series called Kibo Cube Academy in collaboration with our partners JAXA and Japanese universities, And currently we are running a dedicated series for conducting R&D in hypergravity and microgravity. So please make sure to check out our Access to Space for All website. You can find a lot of information there. The next thing we have is the Space for Water portal. It is a platform where practitioners from the water and space sectors exchange knowledge and resources for better water management. So in this platform, we have a unique opportunity, I would say similar to Space for Youth stories, in a sense that you can read interviews about young professionals that are active in sustainable water resource management, hydrology, and other water-related activities. And this is the same, you are also invited to apply to our call for interviews, so please make sure to check out that website as well. Another project we have in the office is called Space for Women. It is a project that facilitates access to the benefits of space, science, technology, STEM education, and careers for all women and girls all over the world. We launched a mentorship program and a network which helps the youth get a chance to get engaged with established women in the space sector. So you can apply to be a mentee. Actually, it is open. The applications are open until the 10th of June. Please check out the Space for Women website. You can find a lot of information about the project and also about the mentee program as well. Another new project we're working on is with Technovation. We signed an agreement, and Technovation is an amazing global educational NPO. So in our cooperation, we will work to empower girls to acquire skills in STEM areas and also leverage space technology to address development problems. So we will conduct a workshop with them during the 2021 Joint Conference on AI, but we also plan to jointly create training material for the use of space data. So I've actually really run through a lot of the things we have, but the office is really conducting a lot of activities for the youth, since space exploration is a long-term intergenerational pursuit, and the next generation will definitely be the true leaders that will get us there. So if you're interested in any of the activities that I've introduced, please go to the website and apply, and also reach out to us and engage with us. So I will give the floor back to Veronica. Thank you for your time, and I really look forward to everyone joining in our many activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Azuki, for the very speedy and very efficient presentation. Now, I would like to give the floor to Valentina Lucchetti, who's going to give a presentation about SGAC. Let's see if Valentina is here with us.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Then I will share my screen. Okay. So hello everyone. I am Valentina Lucchetti, Operations Manager of SGAC, and I will now briefly introduce to you SGAC. So what is the Space Generation Advisory Council? The Space Generation Advisory Council is a global, non-governmental, non-profit organization and network which aims to represent university students and young professionals ages 18-35 to the United Nations, space agencies, industry, and academia. It was conceived at the third United Nations Conference on the Exploration and Useful Uses of Outer Space in Vienna in 1999. And now we go to purposes. So SGAC purposes are to create a global network of university students and young professionals, as mentioned before, that are interested in the space sector and have a passion for this, for making a difference in this sector. We want to connect them amongst themselves and to peers and top space professionals from various organizations, and most of all, we want to give them a voice. SGAC network is currently composed by more than 16K members spread around 168 countries around the world. And in the end, we can say that SGAC activities and goals are reached through 5 pillars, starting with the first one, events. So we have 3 international events. I will start with the Space Generation Fusion Forum, was held every year in conjunction with the Space Symposium in Colorado Springs. In this event, selected candidates, generally from more than 15 different countries, gathered together to discuss about key space and career topics with high-level international space leaders. It is a networking event. Then we have the Space Generation Congress. That's the flagship event of SGAC. It's held every year in conjunction with the International Astronautical Congress. So this year, as you can see also from the logo, it will be in Dubai from the 21st to the 23rd of October, and applications are currently open. So in case you want to know more about the events and eventually apply, we hope to see you in Dubai. And last international events that SGAC has is SGX, that's held in conjunction with Satellite Show in Washington, DC. And this year will take place on the 7th of September. We also have regional and local events that are like mirrors of the international events, but of course at a regional and local level. And then online events, starting from 2020 when COVID hits, SGAC hasn't stopped, but just moved all its young energy to online, So through webinars, we organize more than 130 webinars right now, gathering together more than 110 nationalities. And webinars are still ongoing, of course. So in case you have a cool topic that you would like to create webinars about that, please feel free to reach us out. Project groups. So SGAC has 10 project groups on on a lot of different topics, all related to space, and these give you the opportunity to put into practice the theory that you are currently learning at the university, for example, or at work. There are a lot of them. You can check all of them on our website and become part of those at any time. Scholarships. Scholarships are actually one of the things that SGAC is proud of. So at SGAC, we want to make sure that all our members, both members coming from emerging countries or in general that do not have the financial possibility to attend our events, have then that opportunity. That's why we have scholarships through which we provide then accommodation, travel expenses, and the ticket of the event. We yearly have more than 150 scholarships and grants. And also, for example, both to the Space Generation Congress and the Space Generation Fusion Forum, we there have the highest number of scholarships. So do not worry if just you think, yeah, it's in Dubai, I won't be able to go there, because through a scholarship, probably you'll be able to go. Professional development, we do we develop our members' skills through our vacancies. Every first of the month, we publish on our website dozens of vacancies through which our members can then develop their soft skills, and of course meet a lot of other space enthusiasts. And we have the mentorship program. With the mentorship program, our mentors support and guidance you in boosting your career, And last but not least, of course, we have UN-related activities. Space4Youth is one of them. SGAC is linked to the United Nations because it's a permanent observer of the United Nations Committee on the Feasible Uses of Outer Space. So as kids, we attend every year the Scientific and Technical Subcommittee of COPUS, the Legal Subcommittee of COPUS, and the General Assembly. And yes, then we organize, of course, the Space4Youth Competition and many other activities together. So why should you be a member of SGAC? As said in all the previous slides, you can access to scholarships, you can be part of our network and access and just meet your potential future employer. you can build leadership skills. You can then join our mailing list and receive career opportunity, news, and updates of the space sector. The membership is free, so just come with us, join the SpaceGen family. And yeah, for any further question, please reach out to info@spacegeneration.org. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Valentina, for giving this overview. Now we are at the end of this event. I would like to thank all the participants, all our panelists and speakers for attending. Congratulations again to our winners and our special mentions. This video, as you know, has been recorded. We will post it online on our YouTube channel. And really, thank a lot to all of you. It's been really inspiring to read all of your essays. And I'm already looking forward to next year's competition. Thank you very much to all of you.